to you all. You know, this is how I was welcomed this morning by Connor. I've never heard it used in Ireland before, but there you go. So my name's Patrick, and I'm from Concern Worldwide, and I've been working with them since April of this year. So far, all I've been kind of doing is basically form building, but I've had the great training this week with Dr. John, so hopefully now I'll be learning a lot more and going forward, be able to do more projects. So basically, today I'm just going to briefly talk about who we are, what we do at Concern Worldwide, a brief introduction to monitoring and evaluation, digital data gathering using iForm, data flow, and using Zoho reports.
It was the first time that people saw on television, young children especially, dying of starvation.
They've nothing. They've nowhere to go, no home.
We have the resources, we have the expertise, we can get these people to the next step. And they don't want us to be here long term, but we absolutely have an obligation to take them to that next step.
So I'm very proud to be part of this. Next year is going to be our 50th year working. So basically, let me go on to the next slide. Okay, so what we do. So from that video, you can clearly see that we work with some of the world's poorest people to transform their lives. And we do this by transforming into action the concern of our global supporters, team participants, communities themselves. And we work across a number of programming areas, from disasters to getting nutritious foods to people and adequate healthcare, and to strengthen their resilience against the effects of climate change. So we work in a number of different sectors, such as livelihoods, WASH, emergency, you can see them all there. And how we do it is we work hand in hand with families and communities, listening to their needs, combining their knowledge and experience to target the root causes of poverty, often through innovative solutions and approaches. Building programs that often focus on women and children, and crafting solutions that can last and spread under the steam of the communities themselves. So 2016, we worked in 27 countries, impacting in our livelihoods program about 5.7 million, 11 million in our health program, education 1.6 and 4.6 in emergencies. So this is a little introduction to the team. There's only 4 of us in the team, and we have about, I'd say we have close to 700 devices in the field across 22 countries. So we have a lot of work cut out for us. And we have another member of the team, Kieran Walsh, who has worked alongside OR over the last year, kind of developing our data flow and our Zoho reports. So there's a picture of me from about 5 years ago. We definitely need to change this. And of course, you know Anya as well. Anya's who a lot of you would have encountered in the tickets and things like that. But she's really lovely. Okay. All right, so here's just a brief slide on monitoring and evaluation. So why it's important, and basically it's the way that we track the progress of all of our programs, and it's basically integral to the whole, to all of our programs. And the way we do it at Concern is by using indicators to track the progress of how our projects are affecting the communities. So an indicator is used to demonstrate a change in the situation or the progress in results of an activity, project, program. It can be quantitative or qualitative. And for us at Concern, indicators should be SMART. So S for specific in terms of the questions and calculations. M for measurable, how the data is collected. A for achievable, Is our activity going to achieve this? R for relevant, and T for time. How often do we have to report on this indicator? So across Concern, we've tried to standardize our indicators, so across all of the different countries that we work in. So what this does is it allows us to maximize learning as Concern worldwide across our programs and countries. It's basically reduces the workload and increases the practicality, and it allows us to better our quality control and allows for best practice. So in terms of the maximizing learning at Concern worldwide, as I said, it allows us to use information from various countries that we program in, and allows us to create evidence around our programs. And so I think it was 2013, we were still using paper-based data collection. And since then, we used another software company called PSI Mobile. And basically, our journey with iForm Builder started in the end of 2015. So we have a standard profile, which has over 150 standard indicators, which all the various countries can request, depending on what programs they're working in. In this standard profile, we have a standard consent and demographic parent form, which is used in all of our surveys, like our household surveys and everything like that. So our surveys, the advantages of us using DDG, obviously, they're all obvious, like it's user-friendly, low risk in terms of human error, quicker to complete than paper-based surveys. We can immediately synchronize to a secure server. And what's great about iForm Builder is that we can do all of this offline. So in the field, we might not have great Wi-Fi we don't have Wi-Fi connectivity. And even when we do, it's pretty poor. So we need that offline. We need to be able to collect data offline. And obviously, we can still collect GPS information and time and date. And then our data can be readily available to analyze anywhere, wherever we are in the world. So Concern's journey with Xerion software. So we started with iForm Builder in late 2015. And basically what we had to do then was migrate all of our standard indicators across from PSI Mobile to iForm Builder. And this took quite a while, as Penny and Orr can definitely tell you that some of our forms are really long with a lot of calculations. And so this, and with the capacity of our staff, we only have a few people on our team. This took a long time. So in late 2016, we started using the data flow. And Kieran and Orr have been working on that. And it's been really successful. We now have our standard parent form. All the information from that is going into Zoho reports. So there's dashboards readily available for people in country to use. So this is a very basic graphic, sorry. So basically we have a standard profile, as I said, with all of our standard indicators which have been tested and all have, our standard parent form has a webhook attached to it which is used for the Gnosis and data flow. So a country will make a request depending on what indicators they want, and we'll create a package with the standard parent form and the indicators. And then we'll export it to our country test profile. We'll test it to make sure everything's working. And then we'll import it into the country live profile. So yeah, currently I think we have 22 country profiles. Not everybody is using the digital data just yet, but we're getting there. So in our standard demographic parent form, we collect a lot of information on that is hidden at the top of the form, such as like program cycle stage, information on the donor, program acronym, and the unique survey name, mandatory consent form, locations which are kind of multi-level and obviously use smart conditioning, respondents information, age, sex, education, household head information, household size and members, and all of this information collected in the standard parent form is then used to is used for the conditioning for the subforms that we use in the survey. So for instance, if there's a survey that, or a subform that is to do with child nutrition, obviously you're not going to ask that subform if there's no children in the household. So the majority of our subforms are one-level, single-paging subforms, but we do have some which are three-level, which makes our forms 4 level at sometimes, which can be a little bit tricky to work with, but we're getting there. Okay, yeah, this is just to show. So this is like the top of our standard parent form, and all this information will be hidden from the user. And I understand that this is very much not as technical as a lot of you guys are using. So all this information is later used for disaggregation. Down the bottom we have the program cycle stage, which obviously we'll use a certain survey like over a 5-year period, and we'll use it maybe once a year. So we'll update the program cycle stage each year, which allows for disaggregation and like Zoho reports. So we'll be able to track the progress of our survey over time. Then we have our consent form. Obviously everybody has to consent to taking part in the survey or not. We have the locations, respondent information, household data information. And then down in the bottom left, we have the makeup of the household. And again, like our gender indicators would only be asked if it's a mixed sex household, so there'd have to be at least one male and one female over the age of 18 living in the house. So all this is very useful for our kind of, to use our subforms and our indicators. So the data flow, we've been working with OR. I'm relatively new to this. As I said, Dr. John was training me up this week, so looking forward to understanding this more now. So the basic idea is that we have a webhook in our standard parent form, which is sent to the data flow, and it goes through data flattening, and then all the information from the parent form and the standard indicator scores is passed to Zoho reports, and it's passed into a big table in Zoho reports. Our Zoho reports. Our standard table is here. So information from all of our surveys in all of our countries goes into this table. And we, for instance, we have some categorical indicators here. This table is quite wide, as it has like all the information from our parent form, and then it has about 160 standard indicators, and it's growing all the time. So those are categorical indicators. Then we have some numeric indicators. And from this, we have a SharePoint site as well, where we publish a lot of dashboards. And basically anybody who has access to this can go into this site, look at our dashboards. So for Bangladesh, you can look at a survey and you can disaggregate it by sex or disaggregate it over time. This is very useful for the people in country, and people have to give reports to the donor. So here's a very basic picture of our dashboard. So obviously you can filter by all the different types of information you want to here. It's interesting to focus or to look at the different locations and to filter it by like the age of the respondent and things like that. This one is disaggregated by sex, so male and female scores. And then this is very basic as well, but at the minute we've only actually created or collected baseline information. So across time, hopefully we're going to be able to collect information each year, so this table will grow and we'll be able to track the progress to see if there's actually we've made a difference in the places where we're working. So that was very brief, but in conclusion, Xerion software has really helped Concern make the change from paper to digital data collection. Data collection is much more efficient with built-in calculations in our standard indicators. And this has really reduced the need for us to do calculations with Excel, which we've had to do a lot in the past. Data flow and Zoho reports helps us reduce massively our workload for our country teams, allowing us to create dynamic dashboards for each survey. And I'm really looking forward to, now that I've had the training, to creating more interesting things in the future going forward. And yeah, so basically this massively reduces the time that we need to spend in Excel, which is great for everyone. And also just to thank this man here who's who's really helped us along the way, and he's been great support. So thank you very much, Jor. Thank you.